Welcome to Engineering Mathematics Symposium, which we prepare for my students at the Universidad Politécnica Taiwan Paraguay. As you know that in the beginning of this semester, the COVID-19 pandemic took place and everything had to come to a halt. And starting March, which is just the second week of this semester, I have to start the online teaching through a platform called WebEx. And it turns out pretty well, in fact. And as far as the teaching and learning is concerned, my experience is that the tool do serve the purpose of my teaching. So let me quickly talk about the research team here. So we do have a Paraguay team, which is from my class. Caesar is the TA and he is the leader of the team. I have three other students, Oliver, Anna, and Marty, who joined the team. And the second team is led by Professor Kankana from Indonesia. And she has three students participating in the study of their choice. And the third team is from Taiwan Central University. The leader is a master degree student. The leader is a master degree student, and they will present some of their curve fitting approach. Finally, the USA team is one student from Reed College in Oregon. The other one is currently working at the California state government, who graduated earlier from UC Berkeley. So two persons who are invited, and they are very supportive. Miss Abigail Lackman from the U.S. Embassy, who is coordinating the political and economic events for the embassy. The other person is Mr. Yuren Chen, who is coordinating all the educational activities from the embassy.
Hello, my name is Abby Lackman, and I'm a diplomat at the U.S. Embassy in Asunción, Paraguay. Congratulations on participating in this event today. Today, you will have the chance to meet and work with students and professors from other countries. From my own experience, I can tell you that when you work with people from other countries, you always learn something new. You'll be pushed outside of your comfort zone, but you'll gain new perspectives and become better students and better prepared for professional opportunities as a result. From the Embassy, we encourage U.S. higher educational institutions to prioritize international outreach. Events like this one improve the educational experience of Americans and students in other countries. We are especially pleased to see this sort of collaboration in these unprecedented times between students and professors from 4 different countries. I want to congratulate the organizers of the symposium for taking advantage of technology and virtual tools to make today's event possible. Even when you all go back to in-person classes, I hope you continue to take advantage of these tools and continue interacting with people all over the world. Thank you for applying your skills to this real-life problem. The more smart brains we have working on the challenges we face, the better off we will all be. Again, congratulations in advance for the work you will do today and for taking advantage of this opportunity. A mis amigos paraguayos, hay que decir que roja Paraguay y me encanta la chipa. To all, stay healthy, wash your hands, and muy buena suerte hoy. Jayo, jayo.
Dear students of Engineering Mathematics class at the Universidad Politécnica Taiwan Paraguay, students from the Indonesia, students at Taiwan, and students from the United States of America. I'm Yurin Chen from the Taiwan Embassy at Asunción, and I welcome you to the Engineering Mathematics Symposium prepared by Professor Andrew Wang from the National Taiwan University of Science and Technology. On behalf of the Taiwan Embassy at Asunción, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate you for your excellent research work on COVID-19 infection modeling. As you may know that Taiwan government and the Paraguay government started this new university about 18 months ago. We at the Taiwan Embassy have been working closely with all professors since then. It's a pleasant surprise to know that an international mathematics symposium will take place in the new university, in which students from the Taiwan, Paraguay, Indonesia, and the United States of America will present and exchange their research works. Your efforts and endeavors are commendable, not only because of your courage that you have shown by tackling such a difficult problem, but also because of your willingness to reach out and share your findings with students who are experiencing COVID-19 lockdown around the globe. Every person is unique and special. We all come from different places, dream of different futures, and speak of various languages. Yet one thing is common, the language of mathematics and science. I see that each team takes different approaches toward this pressing issue of COVID-19 infection. It's comforting to know that you are capable of applying mathematics and science knowledge, whether it's ordinary differential equation, statistics, or probability, to the real world problems. I believe you will advance beyond what you learn today and use it for a better world. Professor Andrew Huang has boldly expanded our existing remote teaching learning platform to the next higher level. Each of you participating from different parts of the world has proven that such remote learning teaching platform can actually facilitate interaction for students all over the world long after COVID-19 pandemic is over. I encourage you to embrace innovative solutions, not just to socialize, but for academia. I look forward to seeing you contributing to a better world in the near future. 再见，拜。
Hello everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I'll start. Hello, we are the Paraguay team and we want to share our modeling of COVID-19 in our country. I will briefly talk about each of the models we considered, and we'll start with the logistic one, which in spite of being relatively simple, it does take into account that there are some limiting factors that slow down the rate of growth of the infected population. And this is actually the behavior we would expect, since in a country there is only a limited number of people that we can infect. And since also from the government policies, there is also a limited number of interactions between people. There are other factors such as a certain rate of recovery, and we all consider these factors to be grouped in this parameter P in this term. Our second model is the SIR model, which includes three different groups that are involved in the spreading of the virus. And these are the susceptible group, which are the people that are not infected. Then we have the infected group and the recovered group, which are the people that were infected but have either recovered from the virus and became immune to it or have died due to it. You cannot be in more than one group at once, so as a consequence, anything that leaves the susceptible group must then enter the infected group. And similarly, anything that leaves the infected group must enter the recovered one. Our third and last mathematical model is a slightly different version of the previous one. It's called the SEIR model because it now includes a fourth population, the exposed one, which are infected but do not show any symptoms. Anyway, they will also spread the virus. Okay, so our approach to mathematically modeling the COVID cases in our country started with the analysis of the available data in Paraguay. Then we selected our mathematical model and we tried to adjust it or calibrate it to fit the data properly. Next, in the validation process, we try to compare our conceptual model to the real system using error analysis.
We can hear you, Martin.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to talk about the situation in Paraguay to do an exploratory data analysis to see which method fits the best, which model fits the best with the information we have. As you can see here in the first graph, which shows the infected people per day, there does not seem to be a pattern, so it would be difficult for a model to fit this curve. And on the other hand, the graph which shows the cumulative infected people over time, it does seem to be following a pattern. And it may be described by one of the mathematical models shown before. However, most of the cases here in Paraguay come from abroad. And these people are kept in shelters for at least 15 days and a negative PCR, which is the gold standard test for this infection. Since they are not expected to be in contact with other people, these cases can be considered as having a different behavior. This means that the whole country may be affected by two independent trends, one for the local spread and the other for the imported cases. And the effects on the country of each of these may change over time. For example, the immigration or the situation of the countries bordering Paraguay affect the imported cases. And as you can see here, the cases in the capital city and surroundings look much more stable than for other graphs. And this makes it easier to find a model that will fit these curves. And it makes sense that the spread behavior in urban areas is independent from other zones because the people who live there have different lifestyles, or the input of infected people from other countries is much lower than for example, cities that are at the borders of the country. So following this hypothesis, we tried the logistic, the SIR, and the SEIR models for the cases in the capital city and its surroundings, and because of its importance, we also tried these models for the whole country.
Okay. You can see my PowerPoint?
Not yet.
And there?
Yeah, waiting, but
Okay.
yes, I can see now.
Okay, we continue with calibration. What we do in calibration is basically trying to change the data we have. This is how it looks like for the logistic model. This is for the whole country, and this is for capital and surroundings. Then we have for the SIR model, this is for the whole country and capital and surroundings. We can see that this model fits a little more better than the logistic model. And then we have the SEIR model. This model has the same principle as the SIR model, but it's a little more complex and requires more parameters. So we can see here that the result is practically the same. So this is why we are not going to analyze this model, because we already get a similar result with a simpler model. Then we continue with the performance analysis. This is the validation result for the logistic model. What we do in validation is take all these points we don't use in calibration and feed it in here and trying to see if we can predict these values. And this is how it looks like for the logistic model. And then the residual analysis for the logistic model. This is the residual across the model. Then we can see that for the first values, the error, that is the difference between the observed data and the modeling, it's really close to zero, but as the predicted value increase, the residual increase too. So this shows that the logistic model is going to have high error values for higher predicted values. And then we can see here the autocorrelation. It has a pattern. This just shows that the error contains information from the days before, and that just means that the trend is not well explained. So what we can say for the logistic model is that it's not going to model COVID-19 in Paraguay very well, especially for predicting values, because it's going to have a big error.
So can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay.
Now I can.
Okay, great. So now we are going to analyze the performance of the SIR model. In the validation results, we can see that the model actually describes quite well the general tendency of the observed data. Nevertheless, this model is not perfect either. When we analyze the residual, which is the error of the model, over time, for the SIR model, when trying to describe the whole country data, we actually see that the error tends to increase while time increases. This makes this model, SIR model, not suitable for forecasting infected people in the whole country. Nevertheless, we don't have the same problem for the data in Asunción and Central. Also, we can see that the error doesn't actually distribute it as a normal distribution as we expect from models that describes well the data. This may be done because actually in Paraguay we have a slow amount of infected people that will skew the distribution probability. And also we haven't really used any probabilistic component in the models. We can do it, we can use stochastic models, but nevertheless this is hard and this is time consuming. And also we have to be careful about it because it can be misleading if it is not well performed. Here, for example, because of the time constraint, we just did one stochastic model. And we actually see that the general spread of the data is better explained and as well the general tendency. Nevertheless, the performance, as we can see in the right-hand side plot, the performance is not better than the SIR model without the stochastic component. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation and thank you all for attending.
Good afternoon, Professor, TA, and classmates. My name is Sofia Ramos, and today I am going to present about online classes in shared room. Just before the pandemic started, my family and I moved to another house, where my sister and I had to share a room that was outside the house. The problem started when total quarantine due to COVID-19 was declared. Therefore, we started to have online classes, and the space in our new room was no longer enough for us to have classes there. And lighting was not very good also. So we began to use common area spaces for the family to have our classes, such as the dining room. This caused family conflicts to begin due to space, noise, among other factors. Therefore, one afternoon we got together and started looking for solutions to the problem we had. The goal of the project was to improve coexistence at home, helping family relationships to be no longer affected by the issue of online classes due to quarantine. The methodologies and principles we implemented included the fish diagram, Pareto analysis, 5S system, and flow diagram. The fish diagram consists of defining problems and their causes. We applied that after brainstorming. We collected all the possible problems we were having and categorized them according to their causes in 4 main groups: space, light, fatigue, and time. After defining the problems and their causes, we turned to Pareto analysis, which states that 80% of the effects come from about 20% of the causes. We surveyed family members to identify the top 3 issues, and they were light not being too powerful for both desks being too small due to space, and us wasting time going to our brother's room to use the printer since in our room there was no space to have. After that, we recognized that 80% of those issues carried 23% of those causes. So, by taking care of those 3 main causes, we will be solving the majority of the problems. At this point, we realized that all these would be solved with a study space. So, we used the room adjacent to our bedroom and turned it into one. We used the 5S system to do it. First, we did the sorting by removing all the unnecessary items that were there, leaving it completely empty and spacious except for the table that was part of the original structure. Set in order. As one of our main problems was the size of our desks, we replaced them with a larger one that was in the warehouse of the house. The desk was now bigger and the light was better. We then took these 2 desks to the adjacent room and put them and used them to put our books and the printer, since the printer was also one of the main problems. In this way, we set everything in order, and finally we had our study space. Shine. After that, we prepared a cleaning kit so that the room will be always neat in case anyone wanted to use it. Sustain. We also decided to add some rules and a schedule where everyone would take turns using the study space to sustain the order and the harmony. Flow diagram. This is the floor layout of my house. Here is my house, and here is the study room my sister and I shared. As you can see, here is the closet room, the one that we turned it into, and study space. Here is the dining room that we used to have classes in, and the printer located inside my brother's room. This whole path to have online classes almost every day consisted of 36 steps in total, which was 1 minute and 5 seconds of wasted time. After the creation of the study space, we reduced those steps to only 7, which was only 15 seconds of wasted time, to get to both the new desk and the printer to have the online classes. These were the quantitative changes of the project. To know how everyone felt and their opinions about it, we did a survey again. And we could realize that everyone was satisfied with the new space created and the results that it brought, since we all worked together to make it happen. These were the comments my family had about it, and this consists of the qualitative changes of the project. From the moment we got together among all the members of the family to discuss the fact that the lack of a study space was causing family problems, we made an effort to try to solve it from the roots. Through the use of the fish diagram and Pareto analysis, which was possible to carry out thanks to the survey we made, we were able to recognize the main drawbacks to be solved. Then, using the methodology of the